Good day, everyone. I am Tina, and I will be conducting today's session. So first, I'll discuss the overview, the values, and the benefits of the TOEIC assessment. To get started, kindly give us a like or a follow on our Facebook page, that is at toeic.princetonph, if you want to find out more updates and information about the test. Just a brief background about who we are. So we are Princeton Assessments and Training Incorporation, formerly Hopkins International Partners. We are the Philippine representative of ETS to deliver the TOEIC test. ETS is an organization that develops and administers world-renowned standardized exams such as the TOEFL, the SAT, and the Praxis. Alongside, we have Savile Assessment. This is a company that matches an individual's skills, abilities, and potential fit within an organization. Being our goal here is to bridge the gap between institutions and future employers. Let me present to you some of our partner schools. So as you can see, there are now a lot of universities who already adapted the use of the TOEIC test to ensure that their students are at par with international standards. However, we are not only limited to academic institutions, since we also have here our industry partners. These multinational companies equally recognize the importance of the TOEIC test result or the certificate, as it is now a part of their hiring or application process. Let's talk about TOEIC. TOEIC stands for the Test of English for International Communication. The TOEIC test primarily focuses on assessing the English language skills in an international context. So this will measure the four macro skills. That's your listening, reading, speaking, and writing. TOEIC scores will then be converted into different proficiency levels. And the highest score that you can get is at 990, which is equivalent to general professional proficiency. At 990, it means that you can communicate effectively in almost any situation. But to clarify, the TOEIC test is not a typical pass or fail exam. It's just that there are institutions requiring their cutoff score. Aside from the TOEIC scores, I also want to introduce to you the CFR. CFR is a standardized framework or system used to describe or assess language proficiency levels. This is where most language assessments are based upon. So whether you're taking the IELTS, the TOEFL, or the Versant, there is a CFR equivalent. It has a 6-scale point that's from beginner to advanced. And say, for example, that you took the TOEIC test and got a score of 785. The equivalent of that in the CFR is B2. When we say B2, it means that you can hold a longer conversation and you are considered hireable, as this is the recommended industry requirement. Lastly, a lot of international companies may require a minimum TOEIC score due to the corresponding level of English that is needed in a particular job. So here we gather go-to countries and their set scores. So the scores will now vary on the target country or the state. And if we see here, we have two set scores. That's either a 785, which is a B2, or a 945, which is a C1. So if we have students who are planning to go abroad in the future, please take note of these scores. For students in the allied health field who are planning to work abroad, specifically to the United States, we have some exciting news. So the TOEIC exam is now recognized by the US CGFNS Immigration. So as you can see here, we have various positions available. Now, what are the advantages of taking the TOEIC exam? So for one, the TOEIC test is considered as one of the easiest, as you have the option to take the test sections separately. Second, it is the most cost-effective English proficiency exam for fulfilling the requirements for working abroad. Lastly, the CGFNS mandates a minimum score of 725 for the TOEIC listening and reading section and the score of 310 for speaking and writing if required by your future employer. So make sure that you review the CGFNS website for additional guidance and up-to-date information. The United Nations, an international organization, is also requiring a language proficiency test score, and for English, they are accepting the TOEIC test. Even in Harvard Extension School, an English proficiency is a requirement, and in that case, TOEIC scores are accepted at an 800 or higher. So those are the few benefits of acquiring the TOEIC certificate, as this is recognized in different countries and institutions. Here in the Philippines, it's a bit more challenging because number one, we don't have a general score, and the scores will now depend on the chosen position or department of an applicant. So to give you an idea, I'll be sharing with you some industries and their set score, starting with the hotel industry. They set it the highest at 900 to 925, which is a B2. So we can understand from these scores that they are specifically required for individuals in the sales and marketing, HR, or management, since they need to interact more with clients on a daily basis. Other industries include Enchanted Kingdom, firms such as an engineering or an accountancy with their set score. And if you notice, it ranges from B1 up to the B2 level. Last but not the least, we also have the airline industry, since they are utilizing English as their medium of instruction and communication. So there you have it, few industries and multinational companies who are requiring a language proficiency score and their cutoff. In the ASEAN integration, our neighboring countries also started utilizing the TOEIC test. And these countries require a set score or a score requirement, especially for their university graduating students. And some of these countries are supported by their government, which is also what we want to happen here in the Philippines. As communication skill is one of the most vital in terms of employment. Let's now have the format of your TOEIC test. So you'll be having the listening and the reading exam. That's a 2-hour paper-based test. Listening section, you have 45 minutes. And reading section, that's 75 minutes. 200 items in total, and the test is in a multiple choice format. Now let me give you a breakdown of each section, starting with the listening test. Listening has 4 parts. Part 1 and Part 2, that's relatively easy for test takers. Now let me show you sample questions, beginning with Part 1.
A.
The construction is almost finished.
B.
The construction crews are having a break.
C.
The workers are standing on the scaffold.
D.
The bridge is under construction.
For Part 1, you have to choose the best statement that describes the photo. Please take note that only the photo will be printed in your test booklet. Next, Part 2.
Question 1.
How can I get this computer fixed?
A.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
B.
Lock it to the desk.
C.
Call the IT department.
That's Part 2. So what you have to do is choose the best response to the question that you've heard. And the questions nor the responses will not be printed in your test booklet. This will all be played via an audio recording. For Part 3 and Part 4, the information that you will hear includes travel, weather, and office. Question types. Number 1, questions asking for specific details, main idea, and inference question. So that's the listening test. 4 parts, 100 items, and you got 45 minutes. Onto the reading section, you only have 3 parts. Part 5 and Part 6, you will be given 4-word choices that you must choose from to complete the sentences in Part 5 and the passages or paragraphs in Part 6. Finally, Part 7, reading comprehension. Please expect single and multiple passages. Some of the passages may include short advertisement, short notice, an article, or an email. Question types, you'll have again questions asking for specific details and vocabulary related question. Now, this is a sample question for Part 5. There you have it. Reading section, 3 parts, 100 items, and 75 minutes. So I hope we're clear with the format of the TOEIC listening and reading test. On to the speaking and writing. So it will be computer-based test again. Speaking section, that's 20 minutes, and writing section for 60 minutes. All results will be sent to ETS US for scoring. Now for the breakdown. Speaking test measures various abilities of your speaking. It has 11 items divided into 5 tasks. So as you can see here, you have the breakdown of the questions followed by the tasks. Next, you also have the time allotment. Please take note of your time for preparation and for response. So the tip that I can provide here is to speak clearly and maximize your answer and make sure that you follow all directions. Lastly, you have here the criteria on how you will be graded per task. That's the speaking section. Next, we have the writing section. So you only have here 8 items divided into 3 tasks. So again, we have here the different tasks that you must accomplish, the time allotment, and then the criteria on how you will be graded. So for task number 1, you will be given a photo together with 2 words or phrases that you must use or incorporate in your sentence. So you can change the form or you can also use them in any order. Task number 2, you will showcase your skill in responding to an email. And lastly, write an opinion essay. So here you have to provide your opinion, reasons, and examples based on the topic provided. So please take note of your grammar, vocabulary, and organization. So that's it for the speaking and writing test. So I hope we're clear with the format of the TOEIC 4 skills test that you will be taking. Upon the completion of your TOEIC test, you will be given a TOEIC certificate and a TOEIC test score report. So this is a sample. So what you will see here is your overall TOEIC score and then the breakdown of the listening and the reading section together with score descriptions. The validity of the test result is for 2 years. And if there is a need for you to take the test again, it should be in between 28 days. So you'll have enough preparation and see significant changes in your test scores. With that being said, we also offer intervention programs to our TOEIC test takers. Here are some of the programs that we have, one of which will be discussed in a separate orientation. But the overall goal of the program is to further enhance students' communication skill and aid them in achieving their target score. So make sure that you utilize this as it comes together with your TOEIC test. Let's have a quick recap. Once you acquire the TOEIC certificate, then it means that you have a credential that is internationally recognized in 14,000 institutions and 160 countries. So imagine the power of your TOEIC certificate. Once you have it, your communication skill is also certified. To find out more about the test, you may visit www.ets.org/TOEIC. And that ends our TOEIC orientation for today. Thank you, everyone. Now, I'll be sharing with you a practice test in preparation for your TOEIC exam. The practice test is created as close to the actual test, so you'll really have a feel on what the TOEIC exam is all about. So first is you have to navigate to moodle.hopkins.ph. Click Login on the upper right-hand corner of the screen. We will not be providing you with any username or password. Rather, we made it easy. You just have to utilize your school email address or simply click whether it's the Google Auth or the Microsoft button. It depends on the school official email address that you are using. As long as your school email addresses are logged into your devices, you can easily access the platform. In my case, I'm using Gmail, so I'll click on Google Auth. Wait for a few seconds to load, and this is what you should see. Before you begin the activities, again, on the upper right-hand corner of the screen, kindly update your personal detail in the Edit Profile section. That includes your first name, surname, and then your school official email address. Make sure that your names are spelled correctly to avoid problems with your certificate. Scroll down, update your partner school as well, select your school or university. Once you're done, click Update Profile. Once you click Update Profile, you should be directed to the homepage. We are now ready to start the activities. Scroll down for the courses. So here we will only be focusing on the first two courses, that's Mastering the Test and the Preparation course. In Mastering the Test course, this is where you learn everything about the TOEIC exam. You'll be given effective techniques and strategies on how to get a good score through reading materials and short quizzes. Once you're done with all the activities here, you may now proceed to the Preparation course. And this is what I want to highlight. In the Preparation course, this is where you can find the practice test. We also included video orientations regarding the overview and the structure of the TOEIC listening and reading test. But this is where the actual mock test begins. Click on TOEIC Part 1, Photographs. Make sure that you watch the video, as you will see here quick guides and tips on how to answer this part of the exam. If this is the first time that you're accessing the platform, you will see here Attempt Quiz Now. After you finish each part of the practice test, you will see your grades and an option to review. So now let me continue to the last attempt. This is what you should see. So in this practice test, you can use your mobile phones or tablets, and you can also do the test as many times as you can. For the most unique feature, especially in the listening section, you have the option to rewind or to pause the audio. But this is only for the practice test. On the day of the actual test, the audio will only be played once, so it's better to take advantage of our practice test. Now let me play a sample question.
A. They're sitting side by side. B. They're eating food together. C. They're holding hands. D. They're using the plate.
So if you missed out any information, you can always rewind.
A. They're sitting side by side.
Or pause. Finish all the 20 items for TOEIC Part 1 photograph and go back to the Preparation course tab. Scroll down, continue to Part 2 question and response until you reach Part 7 reading comprehension. So you can explore the other parts at a later time. Now let me just give a few more reminders. So again, for the listening test, the audio will only be played once and continuously. For the reading section, you can do this at your own pace. So if you can finish the questions quickly, then you have extra minutes to double check or change your answer if necessary. Now let's have a quick recap. So again, how to access the practice test. That's via moodle.hopkins.ph. Log in using your school email address or simply click the buttons accordingly. And before you begin the activities, make sure that you update your personal detail in the Edit Profile section. We will only be focusing on the first two courses, that's Mastering the Test and the Preparation course. So do not be confused. The practice test is here in the preparation course, but we highly encourage everyone to access Mastering the Test to get more information about the exam, such as the styles and the format of the exam. And that ends my presentation. Thank you so much, everyone.